My child, come closer. Not with your body, but with your heart. Slow down. Don't rush this moment. Because this is not noise. This is not another video. This is a quiet place where truth speaks softly, but changes everything. I have watched you longer than you realize. Long before anyone noticed your effort. Long before you learned how to smile while carrying weight inside. I saw the nights you stayed strong when no one checked on you. I saw the mornings you got up anyway, even when your soul felt tired. And there is something I need to say to you, without interruption, without fear, without masks. You have been misunderstood more than you admit. Not because you were wrong, but because you were different. You think people walked away because you weren't enough. But the truth is heavier than that. They couldn't understand the depth you carry. They couldn't hear what you hear. They couldn't see what you see. There are battles you fought silently. Battles you never posted about. Battles you never received credit for surviving. And yet, you're still here. Breathing. Hoping. Listening. That alone tells a story. I want to talk to you about something you've been avoiding. Not because you're weak, but because you've been strong for too long. You've learned how to function while hurting. How to laugh while questioning. How to keep moving while feeling empty inside. And people praised you for it. They called you strong. But no one asked if you were tired. Let me say this clearly, so it reaches the place words usually miss. You were never meant to carry everything alone. There are moments you replay in your mind. Conversations you wish went differently. Decisions you still question late at night. You wonder, if I had chosen differently, would my life feel lighter now? Listen carefully. Those moments were not wasted. They were shaping you in ways comfort never could. You feel behind. Like life is moving faster for everyone else. You scroll and see milestones that don't look like yours. And a quiet voice whispers, "Did I miss my chance?" No. You didn't miss it. You're being prepared for something that requires depth, not speed. I know you've been asking for clarity. For direction. For a sign that you're not walking in circles. Here is the truth that may shock you. The confusion you're in right now is not punishment, it's transition. You are between who you were and who you're becoming. And that space feels uncomfortable because growth always does. You've been pruning parts of yourself without realizing it. Letting go of versions that kept you accepted but limited. You lost connections. Not because you failed, but because your capacity expanded. Some people couldn't come with you. And that hurt more than you expected. You blamed yourself for outgrowing rooms you once prayed to enter. But growth will always make old spaces feel tight. I need you to understand this. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. Your tears are not a flaw. Your overthinking is not a curse. You feel deeply because you were designed to understand deeply. There is a reason you sense things before they happen. A reason silence affects you more than noise. A reason you can't ignore what feels wrong, even when it's inconvenient. You weren't created to blend in. You were created to discern. That's why certain environments drained you. That's why pretending cost you peace. That's why your soul rejected what looked normal, but felt empty. You have been surviving seasons that would have broken others. Quietly. Gracefully. With very little recognition. And I know, there were moments you felt invisible. Moments you wondered if your effort mattered. If anyone truly saw you. I see you. I saw the time you chose integrity over applause. The time you walked away even though staying would have been easier. The time you forgave without receiving an apology. Those moments didn't disappear. They are seeds. You think nothing is happening because nothing is visible yet. But roots grow in darkness. Right now, something is being arranged beyond what your eyes can detect. Conversations you don't hear. Doors aligning quietly. Timing adjusting precisely. And yes, you're tired. Because waiting while growing is exhausting. But hear this gently. You are closer than you think. Not to a finish line, but to understanding why you had to go through all of this. Soon, things that confused you will make sense. Soon, the weight will lift in ways you didn't expect. Soon, you'll look back and realize this season refined you, not ruined you. So don't rush away from this moment. Don't minimize what you feel. Don't silence your intuition. This heart-to-heart isn't here to scare you. It's here to steady you. Because what's ahead of you requires a grounded heart, not a hurried one. Stay here. Breathe. Let this sink in. This is only the beginning of what I need to tell you. Stay with me. Don't let your attention drift, because what I'm about to say answers questions you've been carrying quietly. There is a reason your heart reacts differently than others. A reason certain words hit you deeper. A reason you can't unfeel what you feel. You were never meant to live on the surface. You've been asking, why does everything feel so intense for me? Why small moments stay with you? Why loss echoes longer? Why hope, when it appears, feels almost overwhelming? Here is the truth few will ever tell you. Depth was placed inside you on purpose. But depth comes with a cost. You notice things others ignore. Energy shifts. Hidden intentions. The silence behind words. That's why betrayal hurt you so deeply. Not because you trusted too much. But because you trusted sincerely. You didn't love foolishly. You loved honestly. And honesty in a guarded world always feels like vulnerability. I know you've questioned your own heart. You wondered if being softer made you weaker. If caring less would protect you more. But listen carefully, because this may change how you see yourself forever. If you had hardened your heart, you would have survived. But you would have lost who you truly are. You weren't designed to numb yourself. You were designed to transform pain into wisdom. There were moments you almost gave up on your own nature. Moments you thought, if I stop feeling, maybe it won't hurt. But something inside you refused. That resistance wasn't stubbornness. It was alignment. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not overlooked. You are in a season of separation. Some people are removed not because they are bad, but because they are complete in your story. They served their purpose. They taught you what you needed to know. And then they had to go. I know that hurt. Because you don't detach easily. You remember details. You remember promises. You remember how someone made you feel safe once. But here is another truth, one that might surprise you. The version of you who tolerated less is no longer who you are. You can't go back to smaller thinking. Smaller dreams. Smaller self-respect. That's why certain doors won't reopen, no matter how much you knock. You thought rejection was happening to you. But protection was happening for you. Let that sit with you. There are things you escaped without realizing it. Paths that looked right but would have cost you your peace. Relationships that felt familiar but would have dimmed your light. Yes, your light. You underestimate how much it affects others. How your presence shifts rooms. How your words linger longer than you think. That's why some people admired you quietly. And others resented you silently. You felt it, but didn't know how to explain it. You don't intimidate because you are loud. You intimidate because you are authentic. And authenticity exposes what's hidden. If at any moment your heart feels seen right now, don't rush past it. Some messages are meant to be carried forward, not forgotten. You've been asking for reassurance. So let me give it to you plainly. You are exactly where you need to be to become who you're meant to be. Even the waiting. Even the uncertainty. Even the stillness that feels uncomfortable. Especially the stillness. Because silence is where clarity grows. You've spent so much time being strong for others. Listening. Supporting. Holding space. Now you're being asked to listen inward. There is a decision approaching. Not one you need to force, but one you'll recognize when it arrives. And when it does, you'll feel calm instead of rushed. Certain instead of anxious. That's how you'll know. Before we go further, pause for a moment. If these words echo something you felt but never said out loud, let them travel beyond just you. Some hearts need this reminder right now, even if they don't know it yet. You are not falling apart. You are falling into alignment. And what comes next will require courage, but not fear. Stay with me. There's more you need to hear. Now listen carefully, because this part is quieter, deeper, and more revealing than anything before. There is something you've been feeling lately that you haven't been able to explain. A subtle shift. Not loud. Not dramatic. But unmistakable. You feel less attached to what once consumed you. Less reactive. Less willing to chase what drains you. And that scared you a little. You wondered, am I losing passion? Am I becoming distant? Why don't the same things move me anymore? Here is the truth, one that almost no one talks about. You are not losing your fire. You are learning where not to burn it. Maturity doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives with discernment. You are beginning to see patterns instead of moments. Intentions instead of excuses. Truth instead of hope dressed as potential. That's why some connections feel hollow now. Why certain conversations feel repetitive. Why you crave depth more than noise. This isn't boredom. This is awakening. There was a time when validation mattered more to you than peace. When being chosen felt more important than choosing yourself. When silence felt like rejection. But something changed. You stopped begging to be understood by people committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped shrinking to fit where you were never meant to belong. You stopped explaining yourself to those who never listened. That didn't make you cold. It made you clear. And clarity is powerful. You may not realize it yet, but you are standing at a threshold. A line between an old identity and a new one. The old version of you was learning. The new version of you is applying. That's why life feels slower. More intentional. More serious. Because playtime is over. Not in joy, but in direction. You are being trained to trust yourself. To pause before reacting. To observe before committing. To walk away without needing closure. And yes, there are moments this feels lonely. Growth often is. Because not everyone will recognize you when you stop performing. Some people were comfortable with the version of you that overgave. The version that overexplained. The version that stayed quiet to keep peace. They will feel confused when you stop doing that. Let them. You were never meant to be easy to access. You were meant to be intentional. There is also something else happening, something subtle but important. Your intuition is sharpening. You feel it when something isn't right. Even when everything looks perfect on the surface. You sense when words don't match energy. When promises lack weight. That's not imagination. That's discernment. And discernment will save you years of pain if you trust it. In the past, you doubted yourself too quickly. You gave others the benefit of the doubt while questioning your own instincts. You don't do that anymore. Not because you've become suspicious. But because you've become aware. Awareness changes everything. You now understand that not every invitation is alignment. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every open door leads somewhere good. And this understanding will protect what matters most, your peace. There are dreams inside you that still feel fragile. Dreams you haven't spoken out loud because they feel sacred. You're guarding them carefully now. That's wise. Some visions need silence to grow.